because they don't want to.
Exactly. They don't want to-
All right.
I'm recording the
And
Zoom
not
because I
that
don't
they-
trust
their
that one.
comments, they
Okay,
just
so
want-
we, are we on? We're recording?
We are on, we're recording. We have one member of the public.
Okay, I will call this meeting to order at 6:01, I guess it is. Do you want to do the roll call?
Sure.
Margaret?
Um, Ben, absent. Bonnie,
Yes.
Pat, absent. Robert,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Hannah,
Present.
Margaret here, Mike.
Well, you gotta vote me.
Yes.
Okay,
And does we want a motion?
motion to appoint Mike as a standing member of the board.
Second it, or first it, or whatever. Yeah, whatever. I'll second it. Yeah.
Okay, Bonnie,
Yes.
Robert,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Margaret, yes. Okay, Mike, you're official.
Thanks, Mike.
Okay, and before we do anything else, I think we all received a letter of resignation today from Ben. And I'll just read it into the record. Good afternoon, members of the planning board. After much deliberation and careful consideration, I am stepping down from the planning board. I have come to the realization that the position of chair requires a level of time and commitment I cannot provide. Please accept my resignation from the planning board effectively immediately. Vice Chair Bonnie Ham has been notified and will lead the discussion at this evening's meeting. Regards, Ben Wilson. This was received at 1:31. Does anyone want to make a motion to accept his resignation with regrets?
Regrets.
Second it with regrets.
Okay.
Then I'll make another motion that we make Mike a permanent member.
I think we just did. didn't we?
Oh, to
No,
vote
that's,
tonight.
we have to do it
Oh,
each day.
But to fill, you're saying to fill
fill.
Ben's
So
position?
we gotta finish that one.
Yeah, let's
I-
finish
then we'll do
this.
That one.
Will you do
Oh, yeah,
the
we have to
roll
do the
call
roll call.
on the?
I'll stay in all. Don't even bother going there. I'll stay in all.
Okay.
We can vote you in.
Great. Well, I've been getting off this for how many years now? and-
Oh, I know. Well, I'd like to get off. that. Go on, that's-
So let's do the,
Okay,
except with regrets, yes.
Bonnie, yes. Robert,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Margaret. Abstain. Mike,
Yes.
Okay, do you,
No, I'll
would you
stay.
like to be?
No, I'll stay an alternate, Bonnie, with the
Consider-
hopes that
okay.
maybe there'll be some younger members in the community that
Yeah, I
want to
think
join.
that's
All
what
right.
we need.
Okay,
I'm willing to stay an alternate and help when I need it. but-
okay.
Do we have to wait until election?
No, we
March?
can appoint
No.
Now
one.
we can
Oh,
appoint
we can
somebody.
appoint-
As
If we
a
can-
group, we can.
Okay.
You got
If we can
somebody?
think of
I
somebody.
don't, not right now.
No, well, let's try to think, it'd be nice to get someone, no offense to older people, get someone a little younger. Come on.
Well, it's just
Well, we
time
have
for-
Hannah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
thank
We
you for
have
that.
Then I think it was unfortunate for them that, there's never been that much negativity on both sides. Since I've been on this board, and it's just really, I think, he didn't want to deal with it. From there and here and
Yeah.
everywhere else, I think it was tough.
Ben, not that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with tonight's meeting, but Ben did say that he would like to serve the community in some capacity, that he wants to get involved.
Need
So-
to tell
so
them the-
Scott,
the
if you-
floodplain or,
So if you have any position that Ben
Well,
might,
that's kind of not,
consider.
I haven't talked to him actually. but-
Yeah.
well, the floodplain's looking for somebody and
Yeah, no, he-
conservation's looking, which may fit his schedule better.
The conservation might be, and I think they're doing some good things on the conservation thing.
I didn't even know
Yeah.
they were active.
They are,
So he's
yeah,
willing-
yeah, what's his name, oh God. Jim Cheeseborough,
Yeah.
with a couple other people that are doing a nice job.
so, okay,
But the floodplain board of adjustment, unless. Anyway.
all right, the next thing on our agenda is equipment needed for continued use of Zoom. Now, both Mike and Robert had an idea that we've got money in our budget. Maybe we should buy some equipment with the money we got on hand and
I-
not put it in next year's budget. Let's buy it. Let's just buy it because
Oh,
we've
that's
got
not a
money.
bad,
Yeah.
I would think you should have a laptop.
Yeah, I didn't know, the
Yeah,
last
for the-
meeting we got talking, and I realized that was Margaret's,
That's my personal
personal,
laptop,
I
yeah.
didn't know
Right.
that, and we talked about, do we want to have Zoom, and we voted yes, we want to continue with Zoom, but not knowing, just thought we were all set. And then this came out this week or last week, I guess, and so I told Bonnie and Robert and them, we got money in our budget, we know we're at the end of the year. Let's buy it now, if anybody knows what we need, let's buy it now, and that way we don't have to increase our budget next year.
I think that's a great idea.
I think it's a great idea.
And I think we
Yeah.
should have your own computer these days for this.
Yeah.
You know, that way it lives on from one person to the next, and it's all in one place.
Yeah.
Right.
I
And
didn't
so
know
much
that.
stuff is digital now compared to the way it used to be, you know, everything's, you know.
Right.
Judy also suggested that, we have all of Anne Margaret's files. Emery's files and Judy Boyle's files, and the town is a microfiching,
Yeah.
everything else, so shouldn't maybe the planning board have in their budget some money to get our records also
Sure. Scanned in.
scanned in?
Well, I expressed to you my thoughts on that. I'm all for that, except I don't think we're ready to put the money in the budget. I think we need to have a committee, maybe, sit down and go through all our records,
Yeah, we don't need.
find out
everything.
what is current, what we need.
Right,
And okay, let's digitize that. We don't need to archive things that mean nothing.
I agree.
So instead of saying, okay, because the number that Ben told me, $10,000, and I went, holy
What?
crap. Well, he was told that by the office, he told me, and so I said, well, maybe we need to go through things and find out what we have.
Yes.
And maybe it's a matter of when you guys are doing some of your records, they do some of ours and it gets done for $300
Yeah,
or
I-
something. And,
I
but we
like
need to narrow in on
Yeah,
what we
we
need
do.
done.
I'd like to talk to Judy about that.
Yeah,
let's,
I'd be hesitant on
let's,
voting for.
Well, we can move, push
5,000
that
or
for
anything.
next year. probably.
let's, Mike's idea of forming some sort of a subcommittee to go through. the
It's not a bad
records,
idea to go
or
through all that
some
stuff anyway.
subgroup of us. We're not gonna sit here, all 7 of us, on a meeting night doing that. So is there anybody among the group that would be interested in being on a subcommittee to try to see what we got for records and what is important to save and so forth? Does anybody want to serve on such a committee?
I wouldn't mind helping someone, but I don't know what I'm looking for,
Yeah,
so.
That's my thought.
Okay.
exactly.
Mike,
And my other thought is too.
Yeah, I
I'd be
mean, I will
help
help,
Mike.
but here I am telling you, I don't even want to be a full
I know.
member, you know?
That's the thing.
But no, I will help.
all right,
Um,
I could help because I got a lot
Yeah.
of history, and Mike or I should be there because we've got a
Right.
lot of history back there. One of us
Right.
should be there.
all right.
And the
So
excess material goes to like the library for historical
wherever they
purposes
are.
or something. or-
where are they archiving it? Where does it go?
Old fire station or something.
Where is it?
No, that's a good, we're getting there on that one. It's almost done. But,
So, yeah, where are they? After you archive them, where do you keep them?
well, we have place here and, the new building will have room, once we get in there,
Right.
so. There's a nice upstairs attic loft where all that stuff can go, so,
New building.
Perfect.
the new town building.
Yeah.
Oh, the Public Works
Yeah.
building.
The public
Yeah.
works
Yeah.
building.
We're putting office.
The new town building, it's a town building. I didn't say it was a new town building.
So you're not moving out of here and selling this or
We're not
anything?
talking about it right now. We talked about it. It's been talked about. There's a million plans that have been talked about.
Choose your words carefully. Scott. That's
No,
all.
I'm not talking about it. No, we have talked about it, but, and then, oh no, there's a million, and we haven't even talked about it now for 4 or 5 months. Because, we were still with everything going on, but it's been talked about. A million different plans from moving the library to the police station to the,
What do we have now for just this closet?
That
We got that
That's what
closet.
we
got the
got.
That's the
closet.
archives.
And
That's it.
whatever Judy Boyle and
should be in here.
Marie had on a computer.
Right, so we can continue to use this for a while.
We could probably get the stuff off that computer.
We can get
The
the
office
stuff
computer
off the
onto a new
computer.
computer, I bet.
Yeah.
And then have everything in one spot.
There's definitely stuff on a town computer, because Judy Boyle, that's what
Yeah.
she used. And
We should
Ann-
probably buy a separate hard drive too, so you have a
Yeah.
backup to
Yep.
that stuff. And
Yeah,
break it out by year or something. I don't
yeah,
know.
we need a backup.
Or
Oh
you
my
back it
gosh.
up on the internet somewhere. I mean, that's
Well-
why I do my stuff.
One of the other things that we could consider going forward too is we've insisted that all documents be given to us in hard copy only up until this point.
No, and then you, yeah.
And then it forces us to digitally archive them if we want to preserve them. Whereas if we were to get a digital copy to begin with, and then print the paper copies for the purpose of the meeting, we
Yeah.
already have them
Everybody's
digitally
going
archived.
digital. Everybody's submitting
And like
stuff
all our stuff,
digitally.
like what I do, we do it work, and we do it somewhat here, is we have a Google Drive where all the folders live and that anybody can access it, you get permission to. You know what I'm saying? So-
Yeah,
Right, and Google Drive may not be the best option because Google owns it then instead of the town owning it, but
Oh, no, I'm just saying.
Yeah, you need your own server.
But
yeah. So,
maybe I'm wrong, but the way you're talking, Margaret, so if somebody came in for a subdivision, it would be all digitized, digital?
if they were to submit the documents to us digitally, and then we printed copies for the purpose of
Yeah,
our
I don't
meeting.
think we want to get in printing business or be responsible for that. We should still keep it. They want to, they give us, make it so they have to give us digital, but they also have to provide
Give us
those 5
paper.
sets of plans.
Yeah.
Because
Here's
when we're
the-
sitting
Mhm.
here doing a subdivision
Yeah.
or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's nice to have a full set of plans.
The difference is the
The what?
planning agent will print them pretty much for free for the
Right,
person
yeah.
having them made.
But
And we would have to go pay some serious.
And we can
money.
put it on the
Yeah.
TV, but still, I think it's nice to have some plans too.
so
Yeah.
you're thinking they should submit both digitally and paper?
Yeah,
and
they
paper,
should do both.
okay,
Let's remember to include that.
I think they should have to do both, because then the way to store it's
Yeah,
digitally, then you have to keep all these big plans and stuff like that.
so it looks like somebody probably should make a motion to buy the equipment we need out of this year's budget.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, is there a
I'll
second?
second.
All right, roll call vote on that part.
Bonnie,
Yes.
Robert,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Uh,
Hannah,
Yes.
Margaret, yes, Mike,
Yes.
okay.
And then we should form the subcommittee to look at, what we got for records and what is important to keep and what.
I can help as long as you do it in the
So-
winter, summers.
So Mike has interest, Scott has interest. Anybody else want to work on it?
And I can help as long as someone
And
is just
Hannah, okay.
telling me what to say.
All right. All right, so we have 3 members on the subcommittee. Do we want to make a motion to that effect? Form a subcommittee to
I make a motion, we form a
Okay.
subcommittee
To-
to go through the
go
records.
through the
and-
records and see what we got. see
And I
what
guess
we
some of
need
the
to
really
keep.
old stuff you still need to keep
Yeah.
just in case there's a lawsuit down the road or something like that, so we'll have to be careful, I think.
Yeah,
All
well, we
right.
probably still have to keep the paper records even if we digitize them, but if we've got them digitally, then we've got a backup.
Yeah,
And that way, if something does happen to the paper copy, it's not lost forever.
I mean, we can digitize a lot of this stuff ourselves. Run it through the freaking scanner and put it on the computer. I mean, so I mean, that's my thought.
But that brings us to, all right, do we want to vote on that? Everybody?
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, Robert,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Margaret, yes, Mike,
Yes.
Okay, that takes care of that. And the other thing, Judy wanted to make sure was that we had enough money allocated in the budget for secretarial.
if we
for
decide
what
to
we
hire
were
somebody.
Intending to hire, you know what I'm saying, that we had, in the budget, we've got it broken down, legal consultant and secretary.
I thought we grouped it all together.
Well, I have a
We
question to
have to
throw in
break
there.
out payroll because payroll is a separate category.
I got a question about
Sure.
that. We were having a conversation earlier today and the Judy Boyle position covered more than one thing, and used to come in and take the notes and everything.
She got paid though through the planning board.
Right, but I mean, it's gonna be tough to find somebody that's gonna come in and work the few hours that there are.
Almost impossible.
Mhm.
Yeah, so we all know that. Is there any other needs within the town for another position like the Judy position?
I think going
that-
down the road, there probably is for sure.
So we
Well,
could,
You know,
You say she gets but she also was working for you guys and did a lot of stuff under your,
Yep,
you know,
Yeah.
payroll
Yeah.
for us.
yep,
And it seems like we've lost that connection with the select board.
Yeah.
Right.
And there seems to be a wall there between us, Scott.
oh, it shouldn't be.
Right, it shouldn't be,
Can
but
we-
it seems
can
like
we-
there is.
Well, you know what happened though, what happened in some respects is that Patrick went in there yelling and screaming at Judy that she is not to be on any planning board emails, is not to be in any communication with the planning board, that we're a separate organization, and she has no business getting all our correspondence, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, I think it was just kind of hands off after that, you know, she didn't want to deal with it, so.
No, I understand what you're saying there, but it worked better when you had Judy Boyle as an employee, whatever.
Oh, I agree.
and she
Well,
was-
I don't think that's a dead end, Mike, for sure,
Okay,
because we
so-
need more help. for
Okay,
sure.
well, maybe, I mean,
And maybe
instead
we
of
can
us
make,
carrying anything on this budget,
try
can
to,
we work with you or the select board and try to get to that sooner than later?
Yeah, I
Back
don't
to
know.
that, or are you guys not prepared?
to hire them right now, let me look into it.
I mean,
Find out.
really, where we are right now at this level,
It'd be easier to get someone to come, I know. I know
we
what
only
you're saying.
need them 10 hours a month,
At the
something,
most.
right
yeah.
now, you know, until we
exactly.
get something big that
Yeah.
comes in,
Well, let me bring that up, I'm fine, I think that's a good idea.
you know.
Kind of try to share somebody part-time. Right now, we got nobody, but
Well,
I think going down the road, we're gonna be trying to find at least some part-time help.
yeah, it just seems like we got this disconnect between this board and the select board. And we don't even get correspondence. We used to get correspondence all the time from the selectmen that got sent to the planning board.
Yeah, the
Maybe they're
system
just not
broke
getting
down, I
given to
think,
us, Scott,
after.
you
Yeah,
know,
that's not a
whether it
problem.
be wetland things or, you know,
Right.
just a lot of times we just, Bonnie would throw it in a pile because we didn't care about it, but. we've
But I would
lost
get a
that.
call, you got mail.
Right,
Sure,
get
well,
a
let,
call.
let me.
I
work
would
on
get a
that.
call from the
That's
office.
my job.
And that
I'm
communication broke down 100% after the
Patrick.
Patrick made it clear that they shouldn't be.
well, I think
on
COVID too,
our
when
list.
Judy
And
got done.
COVID.
got
I think
done
this
in
whole
that
thing
law.
has been a mess this whole year.
Yes, it
Year and a half.
has,
When
it
Judy-
has.
Stopped being an employee of the
Yeah.
town for
Yeah.
COVID or whatever reason.
Yeah.
You know, we kind of
Yep.
lost the connection.
Somehow we've got to patch that up and
'Cause you're right, we're
establish a
not gonna
good
find somebody
relationship.
who works-
No,
Wants to work 4 hours a month.
yeah, we need
Come
someone with
on.
4 hours and definitely higher pay at the.
Yeah,
And it also.
Margaret, are you
gives-
willing to do it maybe for 4 or 5 months, maybe, or something? You know, as we go on.
I'm certainly willing to bridge the gap.
Okay, and I'm not saying it's gonna happen immediately.
Yeah.
I'm, all I can do is myself bring it up for discussion. I think it's reasonable, you know, what we're talking about. And we have, to, you know, we just don't know what to do there, either where to go and what direction another person.
and we
Right.
indicate with that discussion that we want to mend the fence with the
Select board.
front,
Yep.
front office,
All right,
and
I
the
will,
select board and the front office. That's our source of information. I mean, how else are we gonna know we got mail? You know, we're not privy to go to the post office and pick it up. We need,
no, we can.
Yeah,
we
we're
can-
not asking to use the employees that you have.
Right.
We're not,
yeah,
that ain't what we're asking.
And I think going down the road, we're gonna need some part-time help there too. We've talked about it, so I think
Yeah.
that we can find somebody to kind of.
And those folks want to take a day off once in a while, so, you know, backfilling and.
And plus, there's a
lots of
lot,
uses
there's
for
a
it.
lot of stuff now, all the regulation stuff that are going on, the right to know
Right.
requests, and not just from the people in town, but from the voting people from, you know, wherever, that we want to know everything about everything that's going on in town about voting and everything else. So those have taken a lot of time too.
there used to be some like workforce positions or, you know, some positions that the town could apply for temporary.
There's no help of any kind
Or-
anywhere.
There's a labor shortage everywhere.
That's the
What's that?
problem.
There's a labor shortage everywhere.
Oh, no, it's
Donuts
terrible.
closes at 3 every day.
You know, it's not, you know, it's at the bank, it's at the lawyer's office,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
at, you know, it's everywhere right
We're
now.
having a crisis in the public defender program.
Really?
Anyway, I also think we should increase the wage for whoever does it. As the
Alright.
one who proposed the $14, that's like,
I think
laughable at this
$14 is
point.
ridiculous.
yes,
I mean,
laughable.
Well, unless we can do something with the selectmen, then they end up.
Yeah, well, I
unpaid.
can tell you, I can't imagine we'd hire anybody for 14. I don't, I don't know what the whole wage scale is everywhere, but I mean, it's gotta be more than 14. I would think it's gotta be at least 17 or 18, $20 an hour.
I'm thinking for the short number of hours,
$20
actually
an
more,
hour,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's the thing,
$28
the
an
short
hour.
number
I
of
agree.
hours is-
I think if we were
They're
just gonna
not,
hire
there's no
someone,
benefits or anything like that, so you gotta offset it somehow.
I think if it ends up, we have to hire our own, I think we should go up to 28, $30 an hour, because $60.
Well,
It's
that's
100.
exactly what we talked about at the last meeting.
Yep.
We
Yeah.
were in that neighborhood.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then it's for $60, we might get someone to come in for 2 hours to
Right.
do this stuff,
Maybe,
Maybe,
maybe.
but I think there's at least a chance,
Yeah.
but to go out there at 14, 16,
yeah, no,
to come in for 2 hours for $24, 25, no way.
All right.
All right, so let's
So
work.
so the
our way
budget,
down the line.
we need to tell the front office what exactly
Well,
we
we
are.
already
gonna
voted at what,
propose
11?
For a budget. We voted on at,
We've got 2,000 in here.
7,000.
Well,
The total
two
was
different
11.
ones here, Bob.
11, okay, the total is 11.
The total's 11.
Yeah.
No, the 11,000 was last year's one.
Last year was
And I thought
11,000.
we.
Yeah,
last
for
meeting
this year,
voted-
we talked about, this is,
Which one is this year's?
Oh, is this one?
7,000?
the 7,000 was this year's.
So you're going down. you're
Well, do
going
we
to
have the
7.
minutes from the last meeting? I thought we carried the same budget we had last year,
Yes, we did.
which was 11.
We carried the budget that was actually approved, which did not
Right.
include the legal.
No, the 2021 budget was 11,000.
So
The last.
it was
meeting-
11,000 that we proposed, but what actually got
Right.
passed didn't include the legal. It included the consulting fees, the operating expense and the payroll.
I mean, why don't we just do last year's budget?
I thought that's what we
That-
did
That's
Yeah.
what we did as well.
at the last meeting.
I
thought
mean, there's
that's
no
what we
harm
did.
keeping a legal line there. If we don't use the money, it goes back to the
Okay.
general fund.
Right.
And it's not, in the scheme of things, it's not a.
But,
Right.
but
use
one of
a lot of
Judy's
money.
points is we need to make sure we get enough under the payroll. No, the legal and consultant is the
So, all
payroll.
right, so.
So we need enough
Let's
under the
figure, at the
payroll.
most we do is $100. A couple $100 a month, wouldn't you think? That would be.
well, Margaret,
a
how
lot.
much have you been spending time wise?
Well, we went through that the last time.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
sorry, I missed the meeting. last
And
it
time.
she,
was
So-
like 20,
So the past few months, I haven't submitted my hours.
Oh, okay,
Um,
And that's because we requested that she did until we got this all pinned down.
right, and
okay,
20 hours a month?
20 hours a month, you said?
less than 20, but more than 10.
Okay. 15
Particularly these past
times
couple of months,
30.
it's been,
15. say.
$450.
last
A
year
month,
to date, we only
times
spent
12.
$931 on
Yeah.
payroll.
we haven't spent much on payroll, but you.
We'd like to.
You submitted.
5,400.
So
would be
let's do
$30
the
an hour.
arithmetic. We're gonna say
15 hours a
15
month.
hours at 14 an hour, right? Is that what
Sorry,
we're
Yeah,
I-
doing?
let's throw
there are
the
too many
14
people
out the
talking at the
window.
same time for me to answer anyone's questions.
Okay,
Let's
Bonnie,
throw-
I had 15 hours a month
Yeah.
at $30
yeah,
an hour would be $5,400 a year.
5,400. So we need more money.
Well, I think last year, when we added the legal, which that's what drove us up, legal and
Yeah.
consultant.
Yeah,
Select board was in agreement with us then,
all right.
that if we ended up going over our legal, we were gonna get some help from that
Sure.
side of the fence.
Absolutely.
So I hate to add any more money for payroll unless anybody's feels we got some real legal stuff coming down the line.
No,
I hate to just
No.
keep bringing the
I-
budget up.
you know,
We've
no,
done so many years and never had to,
yeah, I think the legal line was put in there in case it was a conflict, really.
between the two boards.
Between the two. boards.
Exactly. No,
Yeah.
well,
And I think, maybe that's good to keep a line item like that, because it may be, I don't see it now, but it may come to that in the future.
that's why I say keep the budget the same,
Yeah.
not add any payroll, but we're gonna take payroll out of that.
We
We're not
can't
running
take,
the line.
we
We
can't
don't
take
run on the
payroll
line.
out of legal. Payroll is a different budget. It's,
I
It-
see.
it has to be an entirely
But we
separate
could
line item.
decrease the legal expense and add to the payroll.
Yes,
We can do
Yes.
that.
but we can't do it on the fly during the year. It has to be a line item on its own. Payroll is a different budget. It's processed differently through the
exactly,
state,
yes.
so it's got to be a separate line
Well,
item.
What
we-
consultation expense, have we ever used that?
No,
Again, that's something I think,
that should be thrown to the applicants.
I agree, that should be gone. And it should go against the applicants and throw put that to, well, maybe you keep 1,000 there for something, maybe from North Country Council or something, and put 1,000 up in planning board payroll, get rid of 2,000, that would be my idea. But anyway,
Now,
make planning board payroll 3. You know, again,
That won't cover it if we pay them $30.
well, let's make it
Yeah.
3,500 then.
No, we'd have to make it at least 5,000,
Okay,
yeah.
all right, and this sheet I've got here shows 11,000.
that's
Right.
right. Yeah.
Right, that's what.
That's what we
that's
voted
we
on.
did, and I
That-
thought it
That
had-
was the previous.
Again,
I
I
had
think-
4,000 in payroll already.
Again,
That was the,
I
the
think like,
proposed
you
for
know, there was a
2021.
case where
Yeah.
the planning board absolutely needed sleep for France or something like
Right.
that, and we had to pay for it.
Oh, I was
I
thinking
would
the
assume
consultant
it's like
expenses.
what would go
Right.
on.
Yeah.
So,
So.
But
move
I
that.
guess
Oh. Yeah, if we take away,
this is now the select board side of things, you don't run on a line item budget. So if you, at the end of the day, you get a pot of money.
well, technically, we do line.
They
Wow,
can,
but-
they can do what they
You
want
can,
up
you
to
can move
25,000.
things here and there. I guess I'm not agreeing with Margaret
Right.
why we can't move it here.
Payroll, we can't move though, that's the one thing we can't frig with too much. I mean, and we've been told by the state, that's the problem.
Because
But we're
Because-
not taking out of payroll, we're taking out something, adding it
we,
to payroll.
because
Is a contractor payroll.
payroll is one budget and everything else is a different budget. They're different.
But I think we just
There's
solve it.
different ways that they handle them in the way that they're
I think
processed,
we can
because
solve
payroll
it.
affects a whole bunch of other types of line
I
items.
think,
Now the
why don't we just
question
get rid of?
is-
So
If it's a 1099 contractor,
it
It's
doesn't
not
matter.
payroll.
well, we have a line item for consulting right here.
No, that's what I'm saying, that's not
And that
payroll.
would be a
That's not
1099
payroll.
contract.
Right, that's not,
But
we
that's,
could probably make. You could probably make a case if you got something. Paying someone a certain amount to make them a 1099, I guess, but. They'd have to, there's so many rules, that you didn't want to do that.
Well, you're using a lot of rhetoric to make this really complicated.
well,
I-
why can't we just take out the 4,000 for the consultation expense?
And at
And
30,
add 3,000 to payroll?
yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's a good idea.
all right.
And like I said, I'm sure. The select, I can't say I'm sure, but I always get myself in trouble. I
Well,
assume
when
that-
we went into this a year ago, that was our,
Yeah,
everybody select board
Yeah.
plus us, that's what I thought was, if we
I-
got into a situation.
Yeah, we're not
You were gonna
gonna,
help
you're
us.
gonna find the money.
Right.
To do it
course.
within reason, yeah.
So what if could we make it legal consultation, and leave something there, legal consultation?
Yeah, but
is-
legal is
Legal
this
slash
is what happened.
consultation.
So you got something, in case you need legal or in case you need a
Bonnie,
consultant.
look at the other one.
This
Yeah,
one,
maybe
Yeah,
get
that
rid-
one,
get
yeah,
rid of-
that's the one.
Go legal slash
I
consultation
wanted it
expense.
red.
Make that 5.
because she got the
Oh,
original.
I got the original. All right, so we got
photocopies.
payroll. Do we want to make that 5,000?
Yep,
Yes.
All right, we're gonna make that 5,000, and we're going to operating expenses 1,000.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna buy the equipment this
Is
year.
the equipment gonna be $1,000?
Well,
I don't know.
operating
If it's
It's
expenses
decent. it
But it's
should be.
coming out of last year's budget.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. coming out of,
yeah, I'm
and
thinking.
operating is
Sure.
anything, our law books or anything that comes up you
Okay.
you might need. So, and then we'll have a category, legal consultation / consultation for,
and you get some of the stuff like the
That's
show
8,
all that
and we
stuff
took
that's
3
turned
out,
into
how much we gonna leave in that?
So Either
3,
keep
8, 5.
legal at 4 and take out consultation altogether,
We'll just drop.
or just.
Legal slash
Stop at the
consultation.
one.
Yeah.
It'll be 5,000.
5,000.
For both,
For
together.
both,
Yeah, and leave consultation at 1,000.
Yeah,
and
Well, we just
No,
said
we-
make it
we-
legal slash consultation.
Legal.
one-on-one.
Whatever we need,
Yeah.
that gives us a little,
So we got 5 for
Right, can-
a little
payroll,
movement there.
operating 1,000 and 5,000 for consultation makes the 11.
Yeah.
Makes it 11.
Yep. that looks
All
good.
right,
It's
that's,
just not unreasonable.
no, no,
Okay.
absolutely not. Does somebody want to make that motion?
So motion.
Second?
Second,
Okay, the vote on it?
Okay. Bonnie,
Yes.
Robert,
Yes.
Scott,
yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Margaret, yes, Mike.
Yes.
Okay, and we have on here, review the proposed excavation permit checklist in revised form. I mean, we can either look at that tonight, she printed off copies and gave them to us, or carry that forward to December, but anyway, Margaret, you can explain what you included in the package.
Right, so the reason that this checklist was in here was that this is something that I had unofficially written up that I've been using to check whether documents that were coming in had all of the things that we said should be in a packet. And it had been for a long time on our planning board agendas to review the excavation permit checklist, which we never did. And so it occurred to me that with the kerfuffles that we've had with excavation permit packets, whether they had all of the materials in them or not, that it might make sense for us to put this on the website so that
Absolutely.
along
I
with
think that
the,
makes a lot of
Absolutely.
the permit application, there's a checklist that applicants can look at and see, does my application have all the things it's supposed to have?
Super helpful.
Yeah, I think it'd be great.
I
Just one
think
point
somehow we
on
need
this.
to incorporate though what's in our regulation, because this is really what we need.
That's, we
Submitted.
need that whole list.
Right,
Yeah.
this is what needs all to be submitted,
Yeah,
which is a lot more than this here.
right.
Right, so that,
Um,
that list is the elements that the plan needs to incorporate.
Right,
Pretty much. There's the application form, which needs the abutters and
but we
the
got like,
lot number. So do we need 2 checklists?
I have
Well,
a question before going anywhere with this.
Yep.
On this, is there anything different than what we had already said and this, and we have dragged out a thing for a year that's gonna cause it to drag out longer?
no,
no.
This does not apply, this does not apply to the applications that are currently in.
Okay, good, then I'm good with this.
I think the objective is just make it clear
Right,
for everybody what we need.
well, I think we need it when we sit here and look at an
Yes.
application.
Yeah.
We need to
Yeah.
check it off.
Okay, is number 1 here, number 2 here, number 3 here,
right.
go right down through, and if
Right.
something isn't here, it's not a complete application.
Right, and that needs to be done before it gets accepted.
Right, now whose responsibility is that?
Yours.
Yes.
No,
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 I'm
it's
just
not,
saying,
yeah,
right?
no, we're just clarifying here, that's
Don't you,
all.
thi- I mean, that's
That's
the way
right,
I
no,
look at
that's
it.
right.
Yeah, and if
I
we need
agree.
to have an internal checklist that includes those items one by one.
Yeah.
And says the excavation plan and enumerates those items in
I
addition
wish- I
to.
wish these crap
The
would just go
chair,
away.
chair needs to say to the town office, everything's all set, send out the abutters.
Ginny
notices
knows that.
And schedule the hearing and send out the abutters notice.
Yeah.
But they don't do it without the chair saying, we got to.
Yeah, there's
Well, I
gotta be a
think that's clear
signature
at this point.
acknowledgement.
Yeah,
from each one.
period.
Yes, I
For
have
this
seen
next,
that.
for the next one that we got scheduled, then that has been done. So yes or no, I don't,
Yes,
you can say
Yes.
no, so everything on this checklist, so when we
Yes.
sit here,
Yes,
okay, because when we sat here at the last meeting, when you showed us the application, we only had 1 set of plans to look at. It says in here, it's supposed to have 5,
doesn't say
so we're all
5
gonna
in
be
there,
sitting here
so we
looking at
need
1 set of
5.
plans in a
Okay.
couple weeks. So,
Does it say
whoever-
5 in there?
yes, it does.
Okay, so we need
So
to
we need to make sure.
make sure we
I
have
don't, we
5.
don't want to look foolish either.
No.
Well, that's what I'm trying to prevent, 'cause we did a good job of it.
Oh,
last meeting.
we don't want another.
Yeah,
Really
we're
understood.
good.
So,
Yeah, yeah, we were pretty bad that day.
is it going to be scheduled for the next meeting?
it's been scheduled, it's been noticed.
It's been noticed
Yeah, I
for the
got
next
a
meeting.
notice today.
Now,
Okay,
do,
good
now, do we
notice.
have everything on the list?
Well, that's what I just asked. and the
Now
answer is
that
yes.
I am the new
Yes.
acting chair, I gotta, that wasn't my job until right
No,
this
that's why I asked you.
minute.
I just wanted.
So
yes or no.
I
If it weren't your
definitely
job,
will do it.
Yeah,
You know what I
and
mean?
When is our meeting? In 2
Because I
weeks?
wasn't the
13th,
chair.
I think the notice said.
I wasn't the
December
chair
13th.
previously.
So we
Now
need
I
to make
am.
sure
Now I need to make
the
sure that
applicant
it's all
knows if
there.
we don't have it.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Now that- yeah, okay, and I
Even though we
will.
should have accepted the application in the first place. But
And I
anyway,
will.
that's where we are now.
That's
so-
where we are now. I will double, quadruple check with that
And in
list.
fairness to them, if we don't have it, we need to let them
And we need
know
to let them know.
so we can get it.
Is
Yeah.
it unreasonable after the length of time we've been drawn through and the number of different things, errors on all sides, for us to say, if we have whatever it is, but we don't have a certain number of copies, to just give it a waiver this time and get this thing done?
Well, the thing is,
Rather
he's got
than-
2 weeks to make copies. I know.
Yeah.
They've got all
you
the
know,
equipment
But
to
on
make
that,
the copies.
on
so
Bob's
it's
point
not-
though, is, Bonnie, are you, because I'm not really sure still how this works. When you go through the application, are you going to say ahead of time to the applicant if they're missing anything, or do you
Yes.
Yes.
wait
Yes.
till, okay?
We always do
Okay.
that courtesy.
Well,
and
the
not
theory,
let them
and the
come
theory
here.
is if we had done it right,
Yes.
we should never have taken the application unless
Understood.
everything was
Yep.
already included.
Yep.
But we're
Yes.
down this road, we gotta get
Okay.
through it.
So,
We
So-
do a courtesy, and they have a chance to get it. If they
Yeah,
show up with
okay.
it that night.
okay,
No, it would be kind of
I
unfair
think we all
to-
wanna put
to-
this all behind.
Yeah.
us.
to wait
I'm just
until they
saying,
get here, tell them,
ask
and then,
him
Right,
if for
right,
some
wait.
reason it doesn't happen.
No.
we just,
But-
okay.
Well, I think Bonnie, if Bonnie
I will.
gets all the stuff,
I
we'll make
will.
sure we have all the stuff.
Absolutely, I
And
will.
Steve LaFrance has been very helpful and he has made it very clear that if there's anything that we need, he'll be more than happy to provide it. So
okay,
Steve
all we need to do
LaFrance,
is double check and make
The
sure.
agent for the project.
Yep.
You've had those conversations with him
Yes.
great.
yeah, I will do that.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's see.
Wait, sorry, can we just, we're reviewing this checklist, and did we decide that we're gonna put something on the web that maybe includes more?
I think we
The
need to
right
include
information from
Mike's
here.
whole list too.
Okay,
Well, no, it's just on the excavation regulations with town that we adopted in February.
Well, they were on the website, aren't they?
21.
Do we want to refer on this
so
checklist? We need to.
what I can
refer
do is
to-
Put in a note in here that refers to the
Yeah,
paragraph in the excavation check, in
Perfect.
the excavation
Yes.
regulation.
Exactly.
So we will refer to it clearly, not write the whole list on this checklist.
Sure.
We'll
They
just
can,
refer
they
to it.
can look onto the website and find that.
Okay. Do we have a motion on that, on the checklist?
I make, motion, we accept the checklist as revised.
Okay, is there a second?
Second,
Okay, the vote on that?
Bonnie,
Yes.
Robert.
Yep.
Scott,
Yes.
Hannah,
yeah,
Margaret, yes, Mike.
Yes.
All right, we're down to public participation. We have one member of the public. Do you have anything, any questions or anything you want to say, Kevin?
Yes, following up on the excavation permit, I was wondering, what's the
Give it
status of the,
Louder so we can hear.
oh, okay, is this any better?
Can you say that again?
Is this any better? Can you hear me okay?
Hello?
Yes.
Oh, let's see. And then back on, is this any better?
Yes,
Oh, okay, you can hear me now?
yes.
Yes.
Much better.
Okay, so talking about the excavation permit, I was wondering, what's the status of the excavation permit for the Divine Pit?
There's no
There is none.
explanation.
But they're
There's
excavating there,
been no
right?
application.
There has been no application submitted on that, no new permit, no new
There's not gonna be,
submission.
I'm sure. you know.
So, I mean, isn't the planning board supposed to be working with them on getting a permit, or what's the status? It's over 2.5 acres, right? So it needs an alteration of terrain permit, or need some kind of regulation there?
At this point, with the information that we've received from the owner, and his interest in doing another type of project there, it doesn't require an excavation permit. Now he's
But
looking at,
are you referring to the subdivision where the town attorney gave him a letter that says once he goes over 3 units, he needs a subdivision plan?
Yeah,
we're also referring to the fact that there's opposing opinion that doesn't require a subdivision plan.
A town opinion? What's the town say?
The town opinion differs from,
The,
So you guys working for the town or are you working for the
I
owner?
work for the citizens of the town, if you want to know why I'm here.
nobody wants to do that.
the impression I have received from New Hampshire Municipal Association is that it does not require, it's not a subdivision. And that seems to be consistent with the town attorneys. It's not a subdivision because it, as proposed, I
That's
believe.
the opposite.
No, that's the
Bonnie.
opposite,
That'd
Bonnie.
be opposite, Bonnie.
Yeah, it
The
is a
town,
subdivision.
the town attorney says it is.
It is a subdivision. Excuse me.
Sure, that's-
Hey, Gad, excuse me.
I thought I missed something. Come on.
It is a subdivision because it is a subdivision. I think we have told Rex that in, I think, you know, thinking about it, there's no plan before us to review.
I think we could have some litigation on that.
But isn't there supposed to be a subdivision plan with drainage and roads and all those things before they go too far?
The key is,
He can't do anything right now.
he can't, he can't do
Well, I
anything
guess
right now.
I'm gonna ask a question, why did they continue to run a gravel sand pit out of there? You see material leaving there today, I saw it, I was in
I
town
didn't
till
know, I
11,
didn't know
Scott,
that.
it's leaving steady. And I think that's what he's referring to, probably,
I had no, I had no idea.
that's an honest.
So
Yeah,
here's
there's
what-
a mountain of
here's what-
sand and there's all kinds of trucks going in and out. And it looks like an excavation pit.
Here's what we need to do. I think we need to, we went on site
Well,
visits.
then that's not-
And we haven't looked at them. We haven't sat here on any of them. We haven't sat here and looked at last year's pictures.
I
as
thought you
opposed
guys-
to
I
this
thought you
year's
did that
pictures.
meeting I wasn't
We
here,
did
you
do that.
Yes, we did.
We did do that.
The last meeting I was at,
Yeah,
October.
Yeah,
And the
and we didn't see
October-
much different down there, honestly. But I think if he's running a pit out of there now, we gotta go look and see what's going on, because I didn't know that at all.
Well, yes, okay. So you did do that?
I
Was
don't know.
that in
Yeah.
the meeting? I
Yes.
wasn't,
We printed out, we had photos.
yeah, I
I
had
wasn't-
photos of everything.
When was that?
did
So
we,
We'll look into it.
did we make any comments about it? We just looked at the pictures. Did we make any comments?
I wasn't here at that meeting, but I will say, when we did that visitation,
Yeah.
last visitation, we were all in agreement, there's still been activity,
Yes,
and we never addressed it.
yes.
I will say that,
We never
We said
addressed
we
at the
were
meeting.
gonna.
I was
Well,
at.
and we
we,
didn't.
they said they had processed some sand down there. That was it, that they already had. That's the answer I got. And that's what I brought back. Well, I think we need to go and take a look. find
We
out what's
need,
going on.
we need, thank you for bringing that forward. We need
Okay.
to, between now and the December meeting, look at those photos, look at the file. I don't know whether we need to seek some advice as
We
to
probably will.
whether,
Now,
and we probably will, Scott said.
It goes up, but
It goes up already. I'm
no, this is
sorry.
probably after you, I'm like,
I'm sorry I misspoke before. We had two projects going on at once.
now
One
there
was,
That's two
one
different
wasn't.
things.
Now,
Yeah.
I'm just curious now, as we're, that, we're gonna look into that, Kevin, for sure. But
Right.
we weren't aware of that.
Okay,
And then, so what do the municipal associations say? Do they agree with the town attorney?
yes, yeah.
on
You
the-
had me
On
going.
the subdivision,
Yes,
On the
right, yeah.
subdivision, 100%, because, you know, the argument I made was that we have two projects before us that are very meeting a similar need, that are very similar. One's going forward this way, one's going forward that way, or proposing to. And oh my gosh, with the same impact on sewer and water and schools and roads and everything, why in the world should there be such unfair, an unfair advantage to go this way or that way?
Because it's a division of land. That's
And,
it.
and the bottom line is, what makes it a subdivision is you're dividing the land, period.
I
Dividing
don't
the
see any land
land.
division. as trailer
If
park.
the land is gonna remain in the same ownership,
But if the land's being rented.
It's like a
by
campground.
parcels.
You do the same thing with a campground.
I know, I mean,
Yeah.
we can have Laura, you know,
How do you-
we can have her zoom in with us. at a
let
meeting
us,
and
let us
explain it.
verify, let us be crystal clear and sure.
But the town attorney also said that the subdivision regulations are a guideline. If you're using it as a trailer park,
Right,
the planning board does not have to make, you know, variances to those guidelines. If, you know, if they think it's that type of project, that's what people would want in the project, is what she said.
Isn't that what the town attorney considered when she wrote that letter?
Yes, and she's saying we could make some changes
Yes.
to it, to the thing that maybe we don't need, I don't know, 200-foot wide roads or whatever, or that big a turnaround, or that many streets. I mean, those, I'm not saying we don't need those, but I'm just throwing those out as different things, you know.
But
Maybe we
doesn't
can have
there
the density a little bit.
doesn't there have to be an applicant? Like, has there better be?
yes,
No.
yes,
Oh,
we need
yeah,
an
it does.
applicant, we need
No,
an
and
applicant
the bottom
before
line-
we.
No, I'm not saying we should do anything.
No, no,
She was just saying, you know, those things are a guideline. If we find different projects that have different needs, you can vary those, give variances.
The question is, I think, and everybody, you know, that I'm hearing from is, why isn't the ahead project then following the
It's
same
not a
guidelines? And I
division of
understand what you're
land,
saying,
yeah.
right? You're saying it's not a division of land. But that wasn't a division of land because it was more than 3 units, the state considers it a division of
Right.
land. Why don't they consider that project as more than 3 units? So why isn't that considered a division of land?
It's not a division of property. It's a division of a building, you know? I mean, this is all, I can just, what
I
I
know,
know.
I know.
Yeah.
Because Judy and I, we went back and forth with it too, you know, because we
Yeah.
saying the same thing,
Yeah,
but it's
That's,
not.
I
But you-
think.
But you gotta be fair. That's why you gotta have the rules and follow them, because the next guy that comes along will probably want the same accommodations. And then what do you do? And there's definitely gonna be building coming.
Yep,
Oh, no, I think you gotta look at each project and, you know, I don't think there's anything, we don't have anything yet. And I think, I think we're gonna go down this road a little bit, to see where it ends, you know, I don't know.
Well, if you treat each one separately, you're gonna end up with a discrimination problem. Because how can you be fair from one to the other when you don't follow your own rules?
We'll give it a shot.
Do we have or does the town have an application for this project down here?
No, we have no applications for
Any
anything
project.
right now.
any project.
Right now, they're all mute.
But you're expecting one for this.
Well,
I am, I thought we got one. I am.
I don't think that he liked the answer when he said it was probably a subdivision. So it's just stopped.
Yeah, I don't think that
Well, the-
was even really,
Something was stopped.
that wasn't an
Yeah.
application, that was just a.
Just information.
Right, right.
Informational.
Information.
meeting.
Yeah.
This, though, has been further along and is more of a,
The ahead is. are you talking about?
yes.
Oh, I thought that was like a go. Like they're-
It's not a go,
Oh, okay,
no.
interesting.
I think it's getting closer, but they don't have the funding yet.
Oh, okay.
So, and I don't think we'll see an application till we get the funding, but I would like to see an application because there are some issues that will have to be addressed for sure.
Mhm.
Whether they have, whether a subdivision or not, so.
So you could come in and have a, whatever, 25 acre, 30 acre parcel. Say you're doing workforce housing,
As long as you don't sell it.
right? Put in 100 units or whatever you've got, because, you know, we don't have a density thing here in
Right.
town. Always get the setbacks,
Right,
get the town water, get town sewer. And that wouldn't trigger what's triggering on that trailer park,
right. You're right.
even though they're not subdividing any land out there.
Right. Well, they are.
No, 'cause they're
No, they weren't
selling
selling the
lots.
lots, they were just
No, but they're
making
renting
lots.
parcels of land. And that's why she's saying you can't, you'd make an exemption probably for a campground. Maybe, so I mean,
Well, it's not, there's so many ways they can go about it. Remember the one we saw before, Maple Haven? There was, they had to not live there
I mean,
3
that's-
months or 2 months. It couldn't be year round.
Year round.
It had to be a seasonal thing
well,
and actually move out of
like
the trailer.
Jeannie Gesner has a place at Newfound Lake. It's a thing. They can't use they're those little trail.
Yeah,
They
that was the
can't-
same applicant that was
That
over
was the
here.
same as
They
what we saw
can't use the
here.
units they have to close that place I don't know, a couple months a year.
Yeah, that was that same
Period.
applicant that we dealt with. for the
Down
Maple
here.
Haven.
And that's what this guy up here is gonna.
The problem you're gonna run into is right across the street from where we're talking about them doing it. And right down the street, you've got 2 trailer parks that they don't have to do that.
Well, I think the lawyers, her comment, I love it. Just because you made a mistake several times, you don't have to do it for the rest of your
I
life.
don't see how it's a mistake.
I think those were brought in though prior to
Way
these
before.
regulations.
Yeah, it
were
might
made
not have been a
wrong.
mistake. It might
Yeah.
not purposely, but now we have.
You know,
Yeah.
that one down.
I think we have to
I don't think
Down.
I don't think
Just 'cause we
anybody's
did it in
against this
regulation
project.
doesn't
I
make
think
it
we
right.
just need to,
Well, unless it's
Negotiate
grandfathered
our way
in,
through
he
this
has
whole
12 new rules.
Right, I don't think those ever came before anybody.
no.
They were long before that,
They were
right before we had a plan board.
Before I got here.
Yeah,
I mean. I
Oh,
got
yeah,
here in
they're
the
all,
70s.
they're in the 70s. They're definitely 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
And I think we have to be very knowledgeable and crystal clear what constitutes subdivision as opposed to what
I think
doesn't.
we-
Be
I think-
crystal, because there's ways to do it a little differently,
But I think this has been beaten
Um,
to death. It is what it
Yeah,
is.
and it's
Yeah.
moot right now.
and it's moot right now. All right, but we will look at it, in light of it was an earth excavation site and,
Well, it shouldn't be being
does,
used as that now if it is.
it shouldn't continue to be one without a,
Well, the permit is
Permit.
expired, and so.
It's
if they're
expired.
gonna Use it, they have to get another permit.
they have to
Exactly.
get another permit. If they're gonna continue.
Or
to-
is he building roads for his project, which he,
Or now that it's just a unit, you can take, what, 1,000 yards off your property, Mike, without a permit?
up to,
Yeah.
yeah, so I
Yeah,
guess
that's
we just need to research this.
We
a little
need,
bit.
and do you think we need some advice?
Well, let's just see what he says. I mean.
Okay.
we didn't-
Let's see what he says. If we need advice, we'll get it.
All right. Did you get that all down?
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Do you have anything else for us?
Laura's pretty good, you get charged.
No, nope, that was it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
20 minutes in a meeting, she doesn't tell us.
So,
She can zoom in, she doesn't get. to
No,
tell
she
us
knows,
the-
she'll zoom in,
Yeah.
yeah, she will, and she's
She's
happy to
trying
do
to
that.
travel.
and, They don't, I mean, they.
I've
try.
just found that when I hear her information, or I see her write-ups, that it comes up short, and it has a particular point and skew to it.
Yeah.
And I always am asking, what about this aspect of it? And then she'll go in and fill that in afterwards. I don't like that. I want all of it the first time, not some skewed answer.
Yeah, I don't know.
well, I think, I think we would like a more detailed opinion.
Anyway,
Perhaps.
let's wait, see where
All
this
right,
goes.
let's
If we
wait where
need
that
one, we'll
goes.
get it.
Other business, does anybody have anything else?
well, we voted now for the new equipment, you're gonna handle that, Bonnie?
Yep,
Well,
oh, well, Margaret probably knows more than
Margaret's
I what
probably
we
gonna get
need.
it, You just work with Judy on, getting the
Yep, the
credit
new
card
equipment.
authorization. or
And
whatever.
I'll look at the
Is there some in the town
application.
purchases that type of equipment
Yes.
through right now? So
Yeah, so we should probably use them, it would be better.
for repairs and warranty
And-
issues, things like that.
Three, we'll look into the Divine property. Become more knowledgeable and
I'll make a motion that, we make Bonnie the chairman again.
I'll second that.
Okay. you
Okay.
want it?
sure,
Oh,
Sure,
Go
I'll
ahead.
get it.
Do we need a vote?
I don't want to be,
Bonnie,
yes,
Robert,
Yes.
Scott,
yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Margaret, yes, Mike,
Yes.
okay.
Thank you. I'll do
I
you
don't know if that's
proud.
something you want to thank people.
I'll do you proud. I will be on top of it. I will, because I know how important it is to, we gotta do it right, because we got things coming down the pike, and we gotta have our act together, and we gotta have our files organized, and not be in that awful dilemma of sorting through there looking for a bond.
I mean, a lot of these things, it's great not having zoning and stuff in a lot of respects, but in some ways, not having any regulations is hard because. It's,
We should also
Um,
put a notice out on the town website
Yeah.
or something
Yes.
about anybody that wants to volunteer as a
Yeah.
board member to fill that position.
Yes.
I have one other piece of
be
business.
careful what you
We
wish for.
we have a permit that we approved at our last
Yeah.
meeting that
Oh.
needs signatures on
Oh,
it.
yeah.
All right. Then I looked it over and it's,
Got a nice Sharpie.
all right.
I borrowed a pen.
Yeah, we
Have a
will
pencil.
make sure that
And
Calder gets it.
I think Anna said she wanted to be the vice chair.
No, I did not. say
Yes,
that.
you did. Yes, you did. I think that's a great idea.
We got, to-
Yeah, would
you
you?
gotta have somebody.
Yes, we do.
Please,
We need
Hannah.
somebody.
That means I have to take over when Bonnie's not available?
Yes.
Yes,
That
yes.
seems very.
Well, we won't be mean to you. We're mean to
Difficult.
Bonnie, but not you.
Unless- You want to do
No.
it, Rob wants to do it, I mean, yeah.
I see, just for a heads up,
I'm up to my ears.
Paige is back on the ski circuit. She's moving up to NORAM.
Oh, great.
and I gotta go traveling all over the place with her,
That's
so,
great.
yeah, it's great.
That's
So
great.
you're
That
saying
is
we better be
great to
looking
spend
for
time with
Couple
your
members and.
child. So
You're
does
saying
somebody
we
want to
should be
make a
looking for a
motion,
couple members?
Hannah?
Make a
No,
motion,
the thing
we
is,
make
though-
Hannah,
Almost.
vice
Vice
chair
chair.
of the planning board. What an honor that will be.
That is
for
a
her.
great honor. It's a great honor.
I'll second it.
I,
I,
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
congratulations.
It was gonna happen whether you were here or not here.
That's right.
Sorry.
It would have happened sooner. if you
All right,
would've-
do we have anything else? All right, thank you, and motion to adjourn. I have never seen anybody say no to a motion to adjourn, never. Oh, let's put this in the file. Let's make sure.
They
that
said it to me a couple times.
Yeah,
We're not
I'll get it
ready
back
yet.
in the file,
Get it right back in there.
Not here. but
along with a
All
copy
right.
of the permit.
And the team will do you proud. We'll do you proud. We will.
Bonnie, when you come down and do things, can I like, tell me when you do?
All
that?
right, yeah, no,
Oh, And
absolutely.
you should be
Absolutely.
preparing the agenda together.
Absolutely.